We're gonna start when we get a few more viewers in. Right now, I think we got GK, we got Caso. All right, all right, all right. We got more people in the building, getting more viewers in. All right, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bring in Wildcat now. All right, so I'm gonna introduce him to y'all. Wildcat is an OG. All right, from the Trey Gangsters. If y'all may not know, the Trey Gangsters are the first blood gang from New York City. They started in Rikers Island via the United Blood Nation. Um, this individual has a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge and experience from the history of how the blood started on the East Coast. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a great interview. I'm going to bring the OG in right now. Give me 1 second, all right? I'm going to call him in. Yo, what's up, OG?
Yo, what's poppin', homie? What's going on?
Not much, man. Not much, man. Just here with the Queen. You know what I mean? Enjoying our Friday. Very appreciative of you being a part of this interview today, man. Very appreciative, man.
Facts, facts. I appreciate you having me, bro.
Most definitely, no doubt, no doubt. All right, so this is actually the first episode of a weekly series called the Pass and Fly Hour. You know what I mean? And with this, we're just gonna take some time to get into the history of your own life and experience, what you experienced in, you know what I mean, in the streets in your youth, as well as like behind the wall, and you know what I mean, just the insight that you have, I feel like would be a great benefit for those who are watching. So, you know what I mean? Everyone, this is Wildcat, you know what I mean? An OG from the Nitrate Gangsters. You may know the Nitrate Gangsters from the United Blood Nation, the UBN. And I'll give you the floor now to introduce yourself.
Salute everybody, more or less. This be OG Wildcat. You know what I'm saying? Non-Trey, Billy. Um, you know what I'm saying? I was there in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? When it was against all odds. You know what I'm saying? And I can guarantee that everything that I'm saying right now, everything that I'm saying from here on now, is gonna be straight facts. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people. I'm talking about real people. I'm not talking about people that will make conflict just for conflict. I'm talking about a lot of real heads that can say and vouch for what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm.
so what was it, how you want me to start?
Well, you know what? Let's start with where you're from. Of course, you're from NYC, but we could get more into detail. Your borough. You know, what I mean, your block and everything. So, where you from and how was childhood up to like when you jumped off the porch. You know what I mean? We can start from there.
I bet. So I'm originally my parents were from the Heights. They were from Washington Heights. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
When I was born, um, we moved to East New York, to the East New York area. You know what I'm saying? I was living in Brooklyn at one time, and then from there, I was living in pink houses. You know what I'm saying? Then from there, my grandmother lost custody of me, and then I was living on Picking and Hendricks, and then I was living in Queens also too, Richmond Hill. Okay.
okay.
So you know what I'm saying? Growing up, basically, growing up, it's it's the common ghetto story. You know what I'm saying? My parents, they weren't they ain't had the bread like that. So I grew up wanting a lot. I grew up wanting a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And that want and that need, you know what I'm saying, would basically lead to me to uh go get things in certain ways, you know what I'm saying, that weren't the right way. You know what I mean? So I was definitely out there juxing. I was juxing drug dealers. I was doing a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And then, as I got older, it just got worse and worse until when I was about 19 years old. Yeah, about 19 years old. I ended up in a triple shooting. I ended up shooting three people that
Mm.
they came to my job. They came to my job to They came basically. To me, they came to my job to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Because they came on with. They ain't coming. If you coming to somebody's job, you ain't coming with no good intentions.
Yeah, most
You know,
definitely, man.
and if you coming with people's, you definitely ain't coming with no good intentions. You know what I'm saying? And I was
Yeah,
right across the street from the projects. You know what I'm saying? In Queens and Astoria. You know what I'm saying? I was
yeah.
across the street. So, things got lit or whatever that nature. I ended up shooting 3 heads, and I ended up getting locked up and doing. They gave me 10 for that, but
All
then
right.
I didn't get caught that day. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get caught that day. I got caught a week later because a week later, while I was on the run for that case, you know what I'm saying? Me and my co-defendant, we went into the store. He got into some drama with some dude or whatever, whatnot, and son got ate in the ear. You know what I'm saying? They chopped his ear off or whatever, and um, they gave me another 7 years for that. You know what I'm
Let
saying?
me ask you a question. Let me ask you a quick question. When it comes to that, like, if we could just get the time period, the perspective of that, that's like early '90s.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, bet. All right, so
'90s, yeah.
so that's like a completely different landscape of New York City at that time compared to now.
Oh,
You know
hell,
what I mean? So
yeah.
most like you have like, you know what I mean, a great perspective on that, like because I know how you were saying how you were juxing drug dealers and whatnot. Like, how was the landscape then? Because that's like the later part of the crack era. You know what I'm saying? So dudes was probably making hella money. There's probably hella licks at that time compared to today. You know
Oh,
what I mean? So if you could get some in depth, you know what I mean? If you get in depth to that, like I think that'd be, you know what I mean? Like how was that? That whole atmosphere and environment.
I remember I was what? Let me see. How old was I? I was about 11 years old. I think it
All
was,
right.
I think it was 11 or 12 years old, around that age or something like that. And I went with my uncle to this building. And when I went with my uncle to this building, he told me, he said, yo, knock on the door and say you're lost.
Mm,
So I'm like, huh? He said, yeah, knock on the door, say you're lost. We gonna get a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little kid. I'm like, what? Bet. Boom, I knock on the door. And when I knock on the door, they just the minute the it was a dude. He unlocked the top lock. They pushed me to the side, kicked the door in, and ran inside, and it was a wrap. They took everything that was in. They took everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it at that. They took everything, and from
man.
you know what I'm saying, that was my first time seeing the jokes in my own eyes. That was my first time seeing it. I was 11 years old. You know what I'm saying? I saw how the adrenaline. I saw how serious it was. I saw how, you know what I'm saying, how the money came so fast. You know what I'm saying? I saw the risk in it. And then, then that became my lifestyle, because that's what I thought that was the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? I said, yo, hold up. Because they was driving, my uncles and them and a lot of other people that I knew, they was driving Mercedes Benz, BMWs back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And me coming up, I'm trying to see myself in them shoes too. You know what I mean? But um, we not everybody got that magic. You know what I'm saying? You could try, but it doesn't mean you got that magic. I ended up getting locked up. You know what I'm saying? I ended up going to juvenile detention. Spofford. Spofford was like my house. You know what I'm saying? I ended up in juvenile there. My mom was on the visits and on all that in Spofford. I had to get busy in Spofford too, but then they was giving me all kinds of medications, like trying to hit me with Dorazine and all that, because I plucked the nigga out and all that. You know what I mean? Like, and then from there, they sent me to almost where I'm at now, about Rochester. They
all
sent
right.
me and I think it's called Rush, New York. And in that spot, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I really became more rebellious with authority, because in that spot they was like hands on. You know what I'm saying? For a juvenile facility, they was on some really like choking dudes out, trying to see the little dots in their face and beating dudes down. I wasn't trying to hear none of that. You know what I'm saying? Me and my pops used to always go at it, so I'm not gonna let the next man hit me.
Yeah, I
That
feel you.
more rebelliousness. And at that time, it was like we could both be rebellious, but who's rebellious more? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it was always a challenge because of that. You know what I'm saying? Now it's more reckless. Back then there was an intent. You know what I'm saying? Like they do in the law. In the law they say you either got the intent, depraved indifference, or the intent, depraved, or reckless. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
So
So you had correct me if I'm wrong, but around that time you learned how to box. You became like a Golden Glove, right?
yeah,
Or it's that later on?
nah, it was like around. Let me see, like my grandfather. This is how it started with the boxing. My grandfather, I think I was 8 years old. My grandfather had a pair of gloves, but the gloves had like a metal piece in the top part of the glove. And since the first day I saw them gloves, every time because I was living with my grandmother and my grandfather, because my parents, you know what I'm saying, it was like they couldn't handle me and my brother. And I was more of a problem because me and my pops, we was always fighting. So they sent me to grandma's crib. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And that's where I was living at. That's the reason why I kept changing, and you know what I'm saying? Because who's gonna take me? So it was either my grandmother or Spofford, you know what I mean, or one of them group home type joints.
All right.
But so what was I saying? I was talking about the folks.
Well,
Could you
we
help?
were talking we were talking about how before I asked you about the Golden Glove, sorry if I interrupted like the
Yeah.
flow with all that, but yeah, the Golden Glove, yeah, we are talking about that, yeah.
So those gloves, I put those gloves on, and I used to be downstairs. I took the mattress, put the mattress up, and I used to be downstairs hitting the mattress, right? And I used to always watch boxing with my grandfather. So my grandfather came down the stairs. He saw me punching the mattress. He's like, oh yeah, you like that? You like that? Okay. And then he started getting me into the boxing. And when he started getting me into the boxing, that's when I went, you know what? I'm gonna try. I had Hector. Hector was my man. Hector was my man from around the block. He was real nice. I think he fought professional and all that. He snatched me up and we started going to Gallagher's gym in Ozone Park. We started going to Lost Battalion in Queens Village. I mean, Queens Boulevard. Excuse me. We started going to Lost Battalion. We started going to Gleason's. We started going to Starrise City. You know what I'm saying? So we started to all
Mhm.
different gyms, and we started going in. You know what I'm saying? And I was doing my thing. Like, I fought even what's his name? Poison Junior Jones. I didn't even know. I'm not gonna stunt
Okay.
that I knew that I was fighting him. I did not know it was him because he had headgear on, and my trainer was
All
like, "I want you to go in there and fight with son like this, so you can learn how to. Your reflex got to get better. You know what I'm saying?
right.
You're always going for the kill. Now we need you to have some speed. You need reflex." So I'm in there
Yeah.
with son, and son is peppering my shit. He tearing me up. Bing, 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 man, fast. Because he was smaller. You know what I'm saying? Poison Junior
All
Jones was smaller at that time, so he's washing me. Bing, 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 bing. But I was so tight that I was taking it, and see, he was smaller. It didn't really hurt me like that. I caught him with one good one. Bing. But
oh, he was laid out. I bet he was laid out.
yeah, no, he wasn't knocked out. He just went down. And then
All right.
yeah, he wasn't knocked out, but he went down though. He went down and he got up.
And,
And his trainer was like, nah, we're not doing because he can't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because he fights pro. So he
yeah.
sparring match, you know what I'm saying? And technically I was too much. I was way overweight than him. You know what I'm saying? He was like a lightweight or something like that. And I was already a junior middle. You know,
Okay.
so I was just going in there to reflex, but it was just like that son was so fast and he was tagging me. So I was like, yo, I bet I gotta catch one on him. And I caught that one lucky one and he went down. But he got it up and his trainer was like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And it was
Oh,
but then I went and started fighting and then I did the Golden Gloves joint in Madison Square Garden.
that's ill. That's what's up, man.
But at
That's dope.
career,
Oh yeah, go ahead. My bad, man. My bad.
my career, man. My intent was to go to CO. I want
Okay.
I wanted to go to CO with the American boxing team or whatever. I was trying to go for that, and it didn't work out. I ended up going to jail for a robbery. You
All
know,
right, and that's before the shooting, right?
Yeah, that was before the shoot. Yeah.
All right. If we could, I guess we'll fast forward a bit to give us like a sense of the timeline of it. Um, so you went to Spofford. That was like from age 11 until later on the teenage years, right? If I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
I first went to
All right.
I was about like, yeah, like around 12, 13.
All right. All right. And then the shooting had taken place. That was like early 90s. What year was that? Because UBN, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, UBN started in 93, right? Was
Yeah,
it 93? All
93.
right. All right, bet. So what time did the shooting occur where you said that all the people that are coming in now, welcome to the interview. We got the OG Wildcat, NTG, UBN. Essentially what we're talking about right now is, his early life. Right now we're around like the early 90s. And you said how you had three individuals that came to visit you at your place of work. And of course, like if you got wrecked with anyone that comes to you at your work, you already know that they on that time. So you said that you had defended yourself and
Yeah.
it resulted in a shooting, right? You could go into more detail for the viewers.
I mean, yeah, basically it happened so fast, you know what I mean? I saw them in front of the store, so I had to think I could stay in the store and hide. But as they start shooting in the store, then the
Yeah.
customer to get hit. And the people that was there that was on that place, you know what I mean? They was like friends of the family. And I ain't want to violate, you know what I mean? So I took it outside. I
All
went
right.
and I just handled what I had to handle outside. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
when I got outside, I saw they wasn't playing no games. So it's either, at that time you got a quick decision to make, them or me.
Either be eight, yeah, without a doubt.
And I'll be damned if it's gonna be me. So you know what I mean. I just did,
Or
and I think the judge, God bless the judge. You know what I mean, because he passed away, but I think he saw the situation like that. You know what I'm saying? But he got to do what he got to do, and he hit me with a decade.
mm,
And I guess that decade um either made me or break me, and I'm right here still. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely ain't break me.
definitely made you, man, made you stronger. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us warriors. You know what I'm saying? So salute,
Yeah,
salute,
facts.
most definitely. Anytime. I mean, so what year was that? Because you know what I mean, you go in, I guess that was before 93, correct? Like that was before 93?
Yeah, I went to Rikers Island 992. Um,
9-2.
yeah, before that was all DFY. 9-2, I came to the island, and the island was off the meat rack. There was no gangs. Um,
Mm,
the island was just Brooklyn against the Bronx. That's what it was.
okay.
So you had one side of Murder Mall 9 that was Brooklyn, and you had and Queens, and you had the other side that was the Bronx and Manhattan.
All right, Manhattan. All right.
You know,
Now, don't get me wrong. I have a question because I've seen some interviews. I did a little bit of research, and there's some insight as to how the island was back then. Of course, they call it Gladiator School and whatnot. And is it true that back then that you could wear your civilian clothes and your jewelry and whatnot? So it was like the real savages, the real dudes, the serious cats were the only ones that you would see with that. So it was like a status symbol inside, right?
yeah. Let me tell you something, man. People, dudes was rocking shines and all that, but that was one of the major reasons that people were either forming or people just started going buck wild because now here it is. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday morning. CO's calling me for court. Now I know for a fact. See, in the Bronx pen, they really ain't do it like that. You know what I'm saying? But in the Brooklyn pen, they was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you go in the Brooklyn pen, and now you got dude size. Yo, what size are you? You know what size of them Air Force got there? Yo, what size is that coat? Hey, yo, take that jacket off, son. Now you sitting there and you already thinking about, yo, you know what I'm saying? Am I gonna go home today, or is this judge gonna have me facing mad time?
Mm.
And you got this next dude now, he coming through and he holding a razor and he's like, he looking right at you, he looking in your eye like, yo, take that jacket off.
Mm.
And you looking at him like, yo, my nigga, you gonna kill me, yo, because you ain't getting shit, bro. Matter of fact, let's get it. You already made the announcement. My answer don't have to be from my mouth. It got to be from my fist. Because if I say something, I'm giving you the time to hit me. I might as well not say shit and just swing on you and then get it over with and make sure you don't get me as bad as you could if I hesitate. You know what I'm saying? And that's what differentiated by from a lot of us that was coming in back then. Because I know that, and I know a lot of people done heard they would say that in '93 it was all lit and popping, right? I can't speak for the adults. I could speak
Right.
to adolescents, you know what I'm saying? Because in the adolescents in the full building back in '92, '93, and '94, you know what I'm saying? I was going ham in the full building. And it got to the point where I was doing the adults dirt, you know what I'm saying? But at that time there was no gang. So I was making movies with, for example, I made a movie with Chino Blaz and Full Main. Then I made a movie with Johnny Blaze in Full Main. Then I go down to Two Upper. I'm doing a movie with SI and Two Upper. Or I'm doing a movie with Toucan or anybody that was up there. You see what I'm saying? Or I'm down in the Bing with Little Curtis, and we're there chopping dudes up down in the Bing on one main or one lower. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And that time, while that's happening, then you got Mac. Mac is smart. Mac, OG Mac. You know what I'm saying? He's like a recruiter. You know how in baseball, when you got a certain baseball player in the minors, you'll see the people like from the Yankees. You'll see George Steinbrenner, all of them go come to the minors and go check them out.
Correct. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah. So OG Mac was more like he was surveying what the younger cats were doing, and he was seeing, all right, like he tough, he smart. You know what I mean? Like he was seeing how he can. Was he seeing like how he could use them, or was he seeing them more as like a protection, like an army for himself? Like what was his mind state like? You know what I mean? Because me, I'm 30. Like I wasn't back then to know anyone who would tell me as a peer. So it's like how was OG Mac to you in terms of that? Because you said he was surveying, like he was scouting. Like what was his intentions initially before starting the UBN?
I think he was building a team,
Bet, bet.
and he wanted the best hitters on his team.
Uh,
You see what I'm saying? That's what it was. So he knew he heard people name. A lot, especially us in the full building. A lot of stuff we were doing in the full building was ringing bells all the way in the adults. They bugging out. They like, yo, them little young dudes, they cut dudes on the bus going to court. We stopped
mm,
the bus on the highway, that the bus trying to get to the court. And before he even gets to the court, we don't chop somebody on the bus. He's leaking. The bus driver's going crazy because now he got to take that bus all the way straight without stopping at all. They got a dude leaking and see, yo, he can't shoot. He can't shoot in the bus because he might hit somebody. So his gun is worthless. His gun is only
yeah,
if somebody's going to escape. You know,
mm,
in the midst of all that. So in the midst of all that that's popping in there, seeing you know, reckless to his fullest. You got dudes that's just they leaking all over the place. So
mm.
OG Mac is like, yo, man, them dudes right there. So he's like a George Steinbrenner. He's trying to build his team, and he wants the best people on his team because he's not
Well,
that he wasn't really thinking about numbers. He was thinking about getting the best dudes he can, and with them he can tackle the numbers. Because we at that time there was no way he was going to catch up to the numbers that we was going against. They was already
all right.
so you can't think about matching them with numbers. You got to think about matching them with quality. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have 7 bums, but if you got one good player, man, he gonna shine.
Most definitely. So you had like back then, before the UBN, you had mainly what like Latin Kings, Nietas, God bodies, and Muslims, essentially, right?
Yeah,
That was what made up the jails at the time. Okay.
and Man Newton
Uh,
repping their blocks. Dude that was repping 183rd. Dude that was repping housing. Dude that was repping aqueduct. Dude that was everybody had their blocks. Everybody
okay.
had their block in Brooklyn. Yo, I'm repping pink houses. Yeah, he's repping Alabama. Everybody's repping their own thing. You know what I'm saying? So back
Yeah.
you rep where you from. You know,
Or
OG Mack is saying, yo, these dudes right here, I gotta get them. You know what I'm saying? I definitely got to get them because them they people are scared to death of them because
Mm,
anytime you let them out the cell, anytime you let them out anywhere, they chopping something. Sometimes they
mm,
chopping a dude and they just chopping test the razor. So
mm.
them dudes right there. I'd rather them be my allies than be my enemies. Because if they be my enemies, and I land somewhere with one of these dudes, it's on and popping. I'm talking about instantly. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So he was like, and so he started to snatch. He started to send the word, hey, this is the movement. You know what I mean? And dudes was already, cause in the full building before on Billy Love, before we even, got into the gang stuff, we was already going at them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Us as new
Uh-huh.
already going to war with them because a lot of people were trying to say that it was a race thing. Oh, no, not hold up, my bad. Not a lot of people. Certain individuals trying to say that it was a race thing, and no, it was not a race thing. Just because they was Latin kings didn't mean they represented every Latin. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of thorough, neutral Latins that weren't down with nothing that was getting extra busy. You know what I'm saying?
Or
You had Caballo,
or
Dominican Caballo, getting busy. Mario Machine
mm.
getting busy. You see what I'm saying? So it had nothing to do with race. It's just that they got big and powerful, and now they got oppressive. You know what I mean? The same way we don't got. You know what I'm saying? So it's to call a square square, you gotta call it. You know what I mean? So I'm just keeping it 100. You know what I mean? That's what it was. It was that they got big and that phone was a major thing. The phone is what would determine if you was a man or not. If you was
That
a
defined power. I bet.
if you was a man, you got on that phone. And if you was
Mm.
really that man, that was your phone.
Well, you would say who got on the phone at what time.
Right?
Word.
That's when we
Yeah.
crib, no lie. We coming in the crib on some brrrah. And the minute we come in the crib, they already know, oh man, we got one of them up in here. We grabbing the mics and we putting the mics in our back pocket. You know what I'm saying? We putting it in our back pocket. Like, yo, check this out. This mic is dead. It's a wrap. Nobody ain't using it. If you's a homie, okay, you can use the mic. We're gonna square away the time and who gets time and this, that, and the third. If you ain't homie, you're gonna use the other phone. And if there's too many homies and you go the taruns we was calling them, y'all gonna use the phone up to noon, up to 12 o'clock. From then on, it's
Oh,
spot time. So and this
mm,
is coming from because when I came through. That's my word. Just to talk to my mom for 20 minutes, I had to shoot 5 in the bathroom, yo. Just to talk
mm,
because dudes had slot time. And if you're gonna get that, if you're gonna get in that slot, then you and him gonna have to go gun to gun or shoot the 5 in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying?
word.
And they ain't trying to hear that. And like, nah, this is my time right now, bro. You're gonna have to wait till morning.
Bet.
You might want to use the phone. So now you got dudes that's ganged up. So you already know I pop on him. Now I gotta pop on the whole house. You know what I'm saying? Because if I pop on him, his man gonna come try to help him. And his other man gonna go try to help him. So, you ain't if you already know it's on and popping, you know what I'm saying? Once you eat him, you're going after the next one to eat him, the next one to eat him, the next one to eat him. By the way, they're gonna start running when they see all that blood, and then you up out of there, they're gonna take you out the house. So OG Max saw that. He saw that dudes was getting busy like that, and he started to grab him up, snatch him up. Yo, the movement. You know what I mean? To snatch him up. And
Well, then when it comes, oh, my bad, bro. I mean, because I have a question when it comes to that too, because I've seen interviews about like the low lives and the deceps, and is it true that a lot of deceps became blood after OG Mac? Or because like you know what I mean, and like how you said, like a lot of low lives, there's a lot of Latino low lives as well. Like how was that landscape too? Like how did they adapt to when OG Mac had presented the movement?
I mean, it wasn't hard for them to adapt. I'm gonna tell you why. The reason it wasn't hard to adapt because you had Spanish guard bodies, you had black guard bodies, you know, and not all of them turned blood. Very little. To be honest with you, very little of them turned blood. You know,
Uh,
it was a lot of neutrals that were getting busy that turned blood. You see what I'm saying? You know,
that's wild.
Because a lot of God bodies, man, they was really into that, you know, and we had God bodies that was with us in the struggle, man. We had Mahim. Mahim was getting busy. He's a God body. True was getting busy with us. He was a God body. But the rest of us was Damu, you know what I mean? But they was
Yeah.
struggle still. You know what I mean? So they didn't change and turn blood. They still God body. But, you know, those that did turn blood, you know what I'm saying? They was still with that God body mentality still. But they was blood. You know what I mean? So it's like me and you, we kicking it. You know what I'm saying? You my blood. Yo, what up? Who's popping over here? You know? And then you just come out of nowhere, yo. So they, now,
All right, I feel you. I feel you.
yo,
So they like had adapted into it.
yeah,
Word.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So he would still be picking your brain. Because I knew a lot of homies that used to try to pick my brain with the, you know, with the math and all that. You know, and that's how I learned it. Because I learned it I was never God body. But I was around so many God bodies that they taught me the math. And I was reading all the stuff with Elijah Muhammad and everything, you know what I'm saying? Because they wanted me to learn it and they wanted me to be able to speak and identify what people were saying when they started talking God body language, you know what I'm saying? And those
Oh, man.
are peoples, you know. But yeah, you know, not too many of them, not all of them turned blood. You know what I mean? Some of them did, some of them didn't. You know what I mean? But um, they still was righteous.
No doubt, no doubt. So then so you see OG Mac, he brings all these different brothers into the movement, and does it start quickly like wildfire, or as you said, how he's like scouting the strongest and the fiercest? Is it like a slower thing? Like what year was it when it became like a big full blown revolution on the island? Like at what time and how quick did it grow?
9-5.
9-5, bro.
Hey yo, when Biggie came out with that 9-5, motherfucker, get live, it was on and popping.
Mm,
Yo, dudes were eating dudes, no lie, cause I did it myself. Dudes were cutting dudes. Why? Say
yeah,
that. How that shit go with Biggie when he says, I burn, baby, burn like disco inferno. Dudes were getting eight. Wow, and dudes
yeah,
singing that joint. You heard? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
in '95, now dudes are turning adult. The same adolescents that were adolescents in the full building making all that noise. Now they adult.
yeah.
Now they in the adults bringing that behavior over there.
And it's like it's our time now and all that. So
Yeah.
it's like it's like, yeah,
So you
I
got
could picture that.
the older dudes are under pressure. The older dudes are
Mm,
under pressure. They're like, nah, these young dudes are gonna come over here. They're gonna change. We gotta step our game up now. So now you had a lot of adult dudes trying to get, you know what I'm saying? You had a lot of adult dudes going, you know, getting crazy now. You know what I'm saying? Because they always had it in them, but they didn't really want to live that life because they just want to do their bid or whatever and get out. But we over there,
okay.
fuck that, it's on and popping. Let's go. Bloodshed. We action. You know what I'm saying? Lights, camera, action. Let's get busy. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Where we gonna win? We ain't gonna win this war by, you know, picking and choosing. Now there ain't no picking and choosing, bro. That's it. It's on sight.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
now it's 9-5, and dudes is adults, and now it's getting on and popping now because now the adults is riding the wave now, and then we already brung a craziness wave over there of just cutting everything. So now it's on and popping. Now somebody in here say Black Omako. Yes, Black Omako was getting it popping back then. That's my dude, Black Omako. Salute Black Omako.
Salute, salute, salute.
You know,
Most definitely. And
I,
if we can, oh my bad, OG, my bad. I interrupt you, my bad.
nah. Go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you like if we get more into like the detail of how like of what the protocol was because I know that a big misconception of what a lot of young cats have nowadays, it's like, everybody want to be blood, everyone want to be this, and they be thinking that this is what you would have to do and this and that. You know what I mean? Of course, it has to be sanctioned by like an official cat, but what was the protocol back then? You know what I mean? When it comes to like, like the dog burns or like, you know what I mean? Like the buck 50s, like the oaths. I know that there's stuff that's confidential, that's none of anyone's business. But what can you know what I mean, tell the people in terms of generally, like what would they have to do if they chose to, you know what I mean, if they chose to come home, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you had to eat food.
Or
You had
and eat food stands for like, buck 50. essentially.
You had to eat something. You know what I mean? You had to like see. Here's what it is.
Or
It's not that. It's not that you're like being oafed in because you do that. It's because now they know that they can trust you because they know you don't win and cut the enemy. So
oh yeah,
so now you got to look at it from this perspective. If we're talking like 93 and 94, OG Mac ain't make he ain't make nothing up back then. He was who he was, and people felt his vibe. So the people that felt his vibe took his vibe and spread it. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't that OG Mac came down and like, yo, okay, you this, you that, you this, you that, you that. No, 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 no. It wasn't like that. He came down and he had his own movement by himself. So dude,
okay,
like, what's that? What's that red rag type of shit that he rocking over there? Like the last thing I know, I remember watching Colors back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Is he like those guys from LA? Is he a blood? You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality because we didn't have that. You see what I'm saying?
right,
Now,
yeah,
like, you know what? That was the time to spread that over here to conquer these dudes that are already so big and they're oppressive. So now you got dudes running around saying, "Yo, I'm this," because they cool with Mac now. Mac is like vibing with them. They cool and all that. You know what I'm saying? Mac is like he don't like the same thing that they don't like. So they're like, "Yo, we're gonna spread this movement," and then they start going around, "Yo, I'm blood." You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
in all actuality, they weren't real bloods because they were never oathed in on that. And they just running around saying they blood because OG Mac, you know what I'm saying? Ah, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? You blood.
And all that did was just help his movement because he had more soldiers, even though they may not have been as stamped as, I mean, the originators, they were still for his purpose, his cause.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
So, you know, a lot of dudes, they get misconceptions because people start freestyling and they start saying this, that, and the third that, a Latin king cut somebody's grandmother on the visiting floor and all that. Nah, nah, nah. That's not what it was. We was already going at it with them at that time when we was adolescents. And from that, then they started going at it with, that phone. That phone was the biggest thing. The phone.
most definitely.
Phone, to me, I believe the phone caused the biggest problem. I think it's if we didn't have the phone problem, mm, only because people when they get too deep, too many of the same kind, they start to get a different way. Only because of that, I wouldn't say
Well,
no beef like there was back then. You know what I'm saying? Because
uh,
that dudes were stabbing and killing each other and going at it about that jack. You know,
yeah, that phone was a big deal.
you know,
Word.
we're adults and this, that, and the third. No, and now what's happening is that you have what you call your representatives, and then you have what you call your catalysts. You know what I'm saying? Your catalysts, they were down in the dungeon in HDM 1B. Your
Mhm.
representatives, they were in population. You see?
Okay.
So, back then, a lot of these dudes, I don't want coming up here and blowing everybody's spot, but a lot of these dudes were representatives because they was living with the enemy. Even
Okay.
even though they knew that that's the enemy, they was on it like if they don't violate, then it's all good type. We in 1B and all that came to 1B, our mentality was like, nah, we ain't trying to hear none of that. Anything moving is getting shot. Simple as that. Anything moving
Well,
is getting shot. You know what I mean?
so
So
they,
that's
yeah.
what differentiated us. That's what differentiated us. Not saying that they didn't get busy, those that were in population, but they didn't get our type of busy. They got their type of busy. Our type of busy was different. Our type of busy caused us to walk in shackles, to walk with chains on, to ride no more buses. We was riding ERU vans to court. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
With a dude next to you with a shotgun, a van in front of you, and a van in the back in the presidential suite going to court.
Mm,
These dudes were still riding the bus. These dudes were still regular.
mm.
And that's why I say they was representatives. And then you had
Okay.
catalysts. Your catalyst was like, like the Waynos, the Top Guns, all these people that, you know their name. The reason you know their name is because they came from 1B or 1 South.
Okay.
That's,
All right, bet. So all right, so they came from one B or one South, and so these dudes in general population in GP, you know what I mean? Like, because of course we all know that the UBN, well, we all may not know, but the UBN, the first set, the originators were the non-Trey gangsters, the Billies.
right.
So as the movement spread,
Before we,
right?
let me cut you off for 1 second. Excuse
Oh
me.
yeah, my bad.
Now, they gonna say, some people gonna say it's not. They're gonna say Millers. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell you from my experience. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, I was adolescent in 90.
Okay.
I was adolescent in 94. I turned adult in 95. You know what I'm saying? So now it's different. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because they might say Millers. You know what I'm saying?
And who are the Millers? If you could just like,
Millers,
explain a little bit.
where Mac was at in all the way in LA. You know what I'm saying? That's where he was. You know what I'm saying? Where he rep from over there, coming over here. That's
All right.
that's what made it different. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about me when I came aboard, because I came aboard right after, right after. You know what I'm saying? Like, right after 90, end of 90, beginning 95, end of 94. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm
All right. So then, oh, pardon me.
no, no. I was gonna say, so I'm looking at it from that perspective. You know what I'm saying? That Billy's is number one. You know what I'm saying? Because it was all that you knew about back then. You ain't hear about all these other sets until later on. Anything,
So later on, okay.
yeah, later on you start hearing about the other hoods. You know what I'm saying? But everything else was Belly. And then you heard GKB right after that. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, then other things started going on. You know what I'm saying? But and I'm not
All right.
and I'm not telling you nothing that you don't know, or nobody ain't said already. What I'm saying is I'm just certifying that, yeah, if they said it that way, because I've seen mad ganglands and all this other shit. If they said it that way, that is the correct way.
All right, bet, no doubt. So then we would start with Billy's. Then from that perspective, from that perspective back then, it would be Billy's, then GKB, also known as G Shine,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then where does like where would like sets like Sex Money Murder, Bloodstone Villain, you know what I mean? Like where do those come into play? Like do those come in a little bit later or around the same time as a GKB?
Nah, they come in later.
Later. Okay. So like more like
Yeah,
late 90s, like
a little bit
or
later.
like 96,
Yeah,
97.
yeah, 96 around there. Yeah, a little bit later. You know,
All right.
you know, um, because that now you got dudes, like I said again, the catalyst. Now you got the catalyst. They hats up on Bumpy Johnson. You got the catalyst now going at it. Cause now all of us, it's competition. So
Mm,
for example, Todd Guns might be in 12 cell and I'm in 6 cell, and we'll start talking like, yo, I bet you I eat him today. And Todd Guns will be like, nah, I am gonna get him because I'm going to the infirmary. And I'm over here like, nah, I'm going to the yard. He's like, nah, they ain't gonna let you go to the yard, but I gotta go to the infirmary. I said, all right, I said, I'm gonna come out and serve the food then. You know what I'm saying? You see what's going on? While we're in the Bing, and this is our mentality now about our
yeah.
enemy. Our mentality is their plates, and like now people use the word plate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the way we was. That's the way we was like they was plates. Other dudes
Okay.
looking at them like, yo, we got to be careful with these dudes because we going to war with them. Nah, we're not living like that.
Mm,
I'm not trying to live like that. You heard? One of us
word.
can't live in the same crib and we got drama. I don't care if they tell you on their knees and on a stack of Bibles there ain't no drama. I can't sleep, bro. And if I can't sleep, that's not good. You gotta go.
Mm.
So I'm
Facts. Then,
different.
so what it looked like, oh my bad. It was like from what I with just hearing you say is like it looked like the catalysts that were in GP, they were like they were more like I guess diplomatic. They were more diplomatic with y'all enemies, and y'all were in the dungeons. Y'all was like really putting in work, eating food every day, while like in GP it was more like you had representatives, but they weren't really like getting ruck like that. They weren't really catching wreck as often as y'all.
Yeah, nah, they wasn't catching
Nah.
like that. Look, like I never describe. Hold up, I don't. Do I seem dark? Hold on.
Yeah, it's a little dark. It's a little dark. And shout out to all of our viewers. I saw 1,000 watts in the building. You know what I mean? Shout out to all of our viewers. We have an interview right now with one of the OGs from UBM, Billy's non Trey Gangsters. You know what I mean? Wildcat. We have our cash apps at the bottom, Pass and Fly and Wildcat 555. Welcome everybody, and yeah, we're gonna continue with the interview. So Wildcat, like when it comes to this, like around this time. So right now, like UBN starts in 9-3. By 9-5, it becomes like a well-oiled machine, a wrecking force or a force to be reckoned with, pardon me, and it becomes something that's feared in the jails, especially on the island. And tell me how it's like later on, because a lot of these cats who may have gone to jail in the early 90s became recruited by OG Mac or one of y'all in the years to follow, and then they end up out on the streets. How is that dynamic from what you may have heard from the inside and whatnot? Like, how did the streets change from your perspective, from what you heard and from your experiences at that time? Like, how did the streets change? Because all I hear is like at that time the streets went wild. Like once the Bloods were on the streets, buck fifties in subways. The streets go from people repping their block to all of a sudden everyone wearing red. Like, how was that?
All right. First, let me give you a perfect definition of what we were in one beat. Remember the Florida Marlins?
Yes.
All right. The Florida Marlins put together a team with nothing with all stars, and they won that World Series, that one World Series. And then
Yeah.
they had to get rid of everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because it was going to cost mad bread. Even though they made mad money winning the World Series, they had mad players that all of them got to get big salaries because they were all nice. So
Wow.
by this time, that's how the Bloods is now. You know what I'm saying? Especially with us in one beat. You know,
Mm.
it's a win-win situation because now the shooters are Blood. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The shooters
Right.
came home. So now
Mm.
it's a wrap now. So now you have numbers, but we got nothing but gunslingers. All of them. All of them
Word.
busy and getting busy on their own way before. Now they all join forces. Now it's lit. Now some problems. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
That
Okay.
happened. Now, after like 9-8, now I see what you're saying because now I'm reading in the newspaper. I was in the box. I'm getting the newspaper. And they talk about dudes getting cut ladies, all this craziness out in the street, and females are getting sex in. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. Us up in the mountains, we was bashing those people. You know, it
Mm.
was like, oh man, that ain't no homie, yo. A female that comes home by getting sexed in, you ain't Blood. You's a porn star. You got
Mm.
your own profession. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You got
Yeah.
how's that, man? Get out of here, man. Go to Pornhub. A dude. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes sometimes they get nowadays they bringing them in because they already got their own flow, money, all types of stuff. So the package deals coming with it. You know what I'm saying? That's what messed things up because now you got the big homies, they all still up north, and you got all the little homies, they out in the street direction. Nobody
Right.
direct them because the person that's going to step up to direct them, he's a misdirection himself. So the only thing he's doing is spreading his bad energy onto other people, and now it's more bad energy. So now everybody respect me as an OG, not because of my brain. They respect me because my gun game go off. You know what I'm saying? So now what are they gonna do? They're not gonna use their brain because they respect me for my gun game. So now they're gonna run around with the gun game. You see what
Right. So a lot. Okay. So a lot of cats, like let's say if someone comes home and there's havoc in the streets, and he may be putting people on, they may not even know the correct way of coming home until they get booked and they're on the island, and then they meet a real OG who really brings them home.
Yes, and that's
Okay.
everybody that's coming home, and everybody that's worth something is locked up and is getting time now, or you know, all these people was getting on Gambino. Everybody was getting crazy time. You know what I mean?
Okay.
When me, and I'm not nowhere compared to the times that they got. They got Wayno 27 years to life. Magoo 27, 29 life is 20. It's dudes are getting numbers stacks by stacks by stacks. You know what I'm saying? And it was football numbers back there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of us was stuck in the mountains. The youngest is running outside, and the dude that got the props because of his gun game can't think. So he's just telling them to react just like him. So you only got more of him running around doing dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? Females, they ain't in the loop. They don't know you. That's a dub. You don't do that. But they run
Mm.
getting sexed in. Talk about I'm the homie. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
the razor thing didn't even have to come out to the streets. You know what I'm saying? Because you could go back to the fist fight. You know what I'm saying? You can go back to 6, 7 dudes against one, and then that knows if you right or wrong. You know,
Word.
the razor game in jail was because you got to make a statement. That's number one, and number two is sometimes, man, them dudes coming at you with some long sword type looking things and stab you. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
One thing about the razor game, you cut a dude, especially the artery, they start leaking. They ain't gonna want to start too much static because they know they're gonna bleed more and faint.
Yeah.
But it's different in the street. If you tell somebody, "Yo, you want to come home," then this is the old-fashioned way. Or if they still doing it, it's still the same way. You know what I'm saying? 5, 6 dudes, beam, 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 beam. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? Just,
Uh,
all that razor stuff, that jail. How you gonna take jail stuff and bring it out into the streets? Dudes is doing that in jail.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's wild. Yeah.
And shout out to Kentel Wilson, man, Scar Valentine, man. Shout out to Scar Valentine. Rest in peace, man.
We back. All right, y'all. We back. The viewers will come in gradually. All right. So I guess what we were talking about before was how individuals that were out on the streets, they had adapted to the streets. They had pretty much brought that culture of eating food on the streets with the razor when it wasn't necessary to, and
Exactly.
how it was a necessity only behind the wall because you had cats who really had like long swords or something. They was really trying to stab brothers in there, so it was more as a defensive mechanism. It was more of like a defensive thing to use to protect one's life back then.
Yeah.
All right, bet. So then, if we view that then from the perspective of like cats going back out into the streets and whatnot, and just seeing how it had affected culture in terms of how affected culture then. What would you say is the biggest difference? What would you say is the biggest difference now in the streets when it comes to gang culture than it was back then? Because I know from my research, you have cats in the past, like whether it's Deceps, Low Lives, or Letter Gangs or whatnot. But it's like, what's the difference of what you see now? Not just in gang banging, but in the streets in general. Like, do you feel like blood had negatively impacted the streets when it could have had a more positive impact on the streets when it comes to like, you know what I mean? Like you had cats that were out there just eating food and buck fifties and whatnot. Like, how do you feel the influence was on the streets and in terms of just in general with, New York City? Like, how do you see the difference and what do you think, how do you think blood affected it?
I mean, it's a culture. and it's supposed to be a culture. You know, gang only means that it's more than one person who believes in that culture.
Yeah.
Um, some people will use the word gang derogatorily, like gang is something automatically is bad. But you know, they've been saying if you look at the word gang, they've been saying that since back in black and white. You know what I'm saying? When there was no color. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's just that now it has a stereotype because gang is considered like is a bunch of people who are up to no good. It only has one famous definition to it. It don't have how we could also see it. It only has how people have judged it and named it to be gang. It's something bad. But
Right.
technically, it doesn't have to be bad. You see what I'm saying? It could actually be good. It could be a good game. You see what I'm saying? Now, the culture part, what the problem is now is that the mentality of honor, love, and respect is not there. There's a lot of internal there's a lot of internal problems going on, and the reason I'm not gonna go into it too much, but I want to say, which with all due respect, the problem is that there's too many trying to be chiefs
Not enough Indians.
and not enough Indians. You know, too many people who already were gone are trying to make a comeback. See, you can't do that. That's not how this goes. You either here or you there. You can't come here and go out and then come back because you was there before. You know, because that's not fair to those that been there and never left and are still there. They gonna look like, come on, bro, you ain't really about it, because you been gone for a long time. Where was you all this time? You know, I've heard interviews and I heard people say that some people that were doing a thing didn't get enough notoriety. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying that's impossible because look at the notoriety I had and the notoriety a lot of people that were with me had on Gambino. I could go all the way, Babyface Nelson, Dizzy, Man Do. You know what I'm saying? I could keep on going, Bad Vibes. I could keep on going and going. Look how they did.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and they got notoriety. If you didn't get notoriety, it's only because you fell out of grace. You was like you fell off the map. You see what I'm saying? Some
Mm.
people they try to say that they were still around, but they weren't. They were living a different lifestyle.
Do you think they're trying to use like you think they're trying to use like the internet and whatnot to try to get like, you know what I mean? To try to get that notoriety back and whatnot? Like, because I see what you're talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
A lot
that's
of
very
dudes,
interesting though.
you got a few that's doing that now. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
trying to get the notoriety back. And the reason they trying to do that is because they need the power to be able to uh, manipulate. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? And that's the only reason because, I don't gang bang. You see what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
live that lifestyle. What I do is I make sure that those that do, that they know from somebody that was there and somebody that I'm still here, is going to let them know what's right and what's wrong because somehow it has to be fixed. And the only way to fix it is by being honest. And if you have flaws, let your flaws be known. And
Yeah.
if they accept your flaws, cool. You can't get
Yeah.
mad at someone else for exposing your flaws. What you have to do is thank that person and then go and continue to rise because it doesn't bring you down. It makes you strong because now you have an understanding. A lot of people look at it like, oh, excuse me, a few individuals, they look at it like, nah, I need the power to manipulate. I can't let nobody tarnish me. I can't do this, that, third. But you didn't get to a certain plateau because they didn't feel you should be there. You know, some people might say, yo, I've been doing this for this amount of time. But Mac
Hmm.
didn't give him a hood. Why? You see what I'm saying? Because Mac gave
Very
Mac,
interesting.
Mac, listen,
Yeah.
let me tell you something, man. Mac gave hoods. People, you know, that's how you got sets. That's how you got BSV. That's how you got a lot of other hoods. Rough Riders. Mac gave hoods out to those who were worthy. You know what I'm saying? You had to do something big to get a hood, to get your own stamp. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So you had a lot of dudes. They didn't even get no stars within.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Within the structure. But
I feel.
the problem is now is that they use the internet, and the reason they use the internet is because it's easy to fool people on the internet. Because if the bad people that are no good, probably rapos, who knows what they are, but they're no good, and the only place they live is on the internet. This is where they can come say whatever they want to say to you and do whatever they want to do because they know you can't get to them. So when you get their endorsement, you look like you actually substantiate, but you ain't really substantiated. You're fooling the people that really want to know the truth. The people that really want to know the truth are still lost.
Mm.
So you got dudes that will say they'll go on a podcast and they'll say, what they'll say? They'll be like, yeah, I've been around people who are shot callers in certain structures and this, that, and the third. And I'm listening to myself like, how you know that that's true, that they're really shot callers? Why? You know, because of the way that they profess themselves, because they got a few goons around them or whatever. You know, how do you know if this is true?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Because now, for every perspective, now, like you said, nowadays in time is different. It's changed. So now the perspective has become perspectives. When Mac was around, it was Mac. Mac had the last say. When
Word.
he was gone, too many people were fighting for that last say. They want
I
that last say. They want to sit up there and they want to trick their way up there. They want to trick people. They want to trick their way up there when they don't belong there.
Well,
Because
when it comes to, oh no, pardon me, man. I'm gonna ask you right after because I feel like you have a point to make with that right there. Let me listen to what you have to say with that.
now I'm just gonna say they go for that. They go for the throne, right?
Yeah.
Fidel Castro did it, right? Remember Fidel Castro? Fidel Castro went and took over Cuba.
Yes, sir. Yes,
A
sir.
lot of people respected him. A few loved him, but a lot of hated him. You see what I'm saying? A lot of
Hmm.
people hated him, but he was the last say. And because he was the last say, that's why the country still blossomed. That's why the country was still they still had food to eat. They knew how to cherish what they had because you could have nothing or what you have now. So within Fidel's structure, what he did was he held down the structure by keeping it that way, keeping it his say. So when Mac was around, it was his say. Once Mac
Okay.
was gone, now everybody's saying, no, it's my say. No, it's his say. So now what they do is, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna join with him. It's gonna be what we say against what y'all say. You see what I'm saying? And then next you know it's 1 2 3 against 1 2 3, and then 1 2 3 4 against 1 2 3 4, and then it becomes a whole what America will call domestic war because it's internal.
Mm.
See what I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
happened only because they used this as a vessel. And
Do you feel as if, yeah, but it's like, do you feel as if, I mean, like, do you feel like it kind of went in disarray as well as a result of like allegations of Max snitching and whatnot, like that whole thing too? Me, I don't know the answer to that question, of course, but like, do you feel like the younger G's, maybe that's why they're running wild now because they don't want guidance from the elders, and maybe the elders are like, oh well, he wasn't the real OG I was and whatnot. Could that have something to do with it too? I feel like that's a good segue to take because a lot of times, like me, I frequented like the hoodup.com and all these forums. And when they talk about OG Mac, he gets a lot of disrespect that I don't know if it's warranted or not. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get like how that would justify, you know what I mean? Like, the other OGs coming in and taking his spot because he started what he started. But at the same time, it's like, what's your opinion on that too? Like, do you feel like that caused the other OGs to kind of like take his authority and his legacy? Or do you think that more so just gave the young ones a reason to run wild?
I'm gonna say that it gave too much people a thing to prove. Now
Gave too much people think,
you
word,
gave people you took a hungry dog and you put a piece of meat on a string there, and then when before somebody came and took the meat and cut it into pieces and fed everybody, made sure everybody ate.
yeah,
Now it's like I'm not doing that no more. I'm sticking the meat on a string and y'all do what y'all gotta do. That will never work.
mm,
And that's the reason why there's so much problems nowadays. Because now what's the problem is that it's too much collisions of mentalities, too much
mm,
collisions of opinions, too much people trying to be something that they ain't when they should just stay the same and stay just be who they are and show
yeah.
everybody human beings. You see what I'm saying? Humanize.
Iraq 152 said you can't negate what he built and can't ignore what he did. I
Ooh,
mean, me, listen, I never knew OG Mac. I can't say if he snitched or not. That's none of my business. But if he built something that is 30 years in, you know what I mean, as big as it is now, you can't negate what he built. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So you were exactly right. And that analogy with the meat on a string, that's pretty much that's pretty much like a definition of what you were saying. Like that's very true. Cause I could see that. Like you have like the other OGs that came up under Mac, and once Mac is gone, they like, all right, now I'm the head honcho. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what you're saying with that.
yeah.
Word,
That's where the problem comes from. And
word, word.
now that's the poison, and that's been spreading since I remember when I was in the port. And dudes was coming through talking about they something that they're not. And I used to always have to put them on blast. Like, no, you not. Stop lying, bro. Who told you that? Who told you that? No, you not. You's a lying ass dude. Cause sometimes I used to not say nothing, and a dude would pull up on the gallery, and he'll be like, "Hey yo," and dudes would be like, "Hey yo." They'd be like, "Brat, who you be?" And he'd be like, "I be this, that, and the third. I'm 5 star, this, that, and the third." And then you don't say nothing. You let him keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. And then you get on the gate and you be like, "Yo, son, man, you freestyling. You ain't no 5 star nothing, man. Stop lying. You ain't that."
Word,
You know what I'm saying? Stop telling people that you something that you not, man. Stop fronting. You freestyle.
word.
And
Mm,
that's what's happening now is that too many people, especially out here, you're gonna be doing that all day because everybody's starting now. It's like everybody using it. It's a race. It's a race to see who gets there first. It's
mm.
crazy.
Hell yeah, that's wild, man. Like definitely it's definitely the same thing you said before. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone wants to be a leader, and that's admirable in its own right, but at the same time, leaders are nurtured. You have born leaders, and then you have leaders who learn from previous leaders and become better leaders. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? So without a
Facts.
doubt, like without a doubt. So let's say now I've seen some of your previous interviews, and is it true that you assaulted like, or you ate food from, you took food from the dude who killed John Lennon, and, like the Zodiac killer, and like the Central Park rapist? Like, which ones? I don't know if I labeled them correctly, but like, which ones? Like, you know what I mean? Because that was
Uh,
some exciting shit, man. No
the,
doubt.
the dude that shot John Lennon, I didn't even know it was him. You know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
they tried to pound me out in the box, but he was in the law library, and I know that he stole my shirt because he was working in the receiving room. You see what I'm saying? And I remember
Yeah.
I came in the receiving room, but I didn't know that he worked in the law library too.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But he was
Yeah.
like they pet over there in Attica. They loved him. So he had a little bit of power. Anyway, he was there, I know, and I saw him, and I'm saying, like, no, he stole my shirt. And then we start arguing, and the next thing you know, I caught him with the hook. You know what I'm saying? He just went down, got, he went like held himself, came back up. Police came, told me to stand over here, told him to stand over there. And then it wasn't until I got the infraction that I'm looking at the ticket, and I'm like, damn, why does this name sound familiar? And then the CEO tells me like, yo, that's Chapman. That's David Chapman. That's who killed the John Lennon. I was like, oh, word. I said, damn, I wish I would have knew that. I would have really went ham on him. I didn't know that was him. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I just know that son stole my shirt, and he out here in the law library working. Now's a good chance to get revenge on his ass. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know when the next time I'm coming to the law library. You know what I mean? So, and then the Zodiac was from my hood actually. He's from the East, but I ain't never seen him before until I saw him in we was in 2B in NIC. And that's when I saw him over there, and he was telling a little story and all that. You know what I'm saying? Asking dudes their zodiac sign, and I'm over here saying to myself, "Yeah, I gotta get him. He's a good play to get." You know what I mean? Because that's the mentality. That's what differentiated us from the other people. That was our mentality. We was really like looking at people like they were objects to eat. You know what I'm saying? While these dudes, they looking at they on a different type of time. You know what I'm saying? So that's what made us different. That's why we were the catalysts and they were the representatives.
okay. All right, no doubt, no doubt. So it's like when it comes to that, I definitely see how you experienced a lot behind the wall. And it's like you've probably seen a lot of people who told, you may have seen a lot of people who were faking the funk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know how we had referred to OG Mac with the word snitch and all that. The word snitch, I want to see what you would define a snitch as. You know what I mean? Like me personally, for example, like I don't see a snitch as someone, I see a snitch as someone who does dirt and tells after doing dirt. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if you're a citizen or a neutral person and you call law enforcement, that doesn't make you a snitch. I feel like a snitch is someone who, like, you know what I mean? Like if you go and rob a bank with like two of your homeboys and then y'all get bagged and then you telling your homeboys to go home and all that. That's what I would define a snitch as. What would you define a snitch as?
See,
And what are some
the
experiences that you've had with seeing people who have told?
the reason they call it a snitch is because a rat is already a bad thing, a bad
Yeah.
animal. He already does dirt. But what makes a snitch a rat is because a rat, because he already does dirt. He don't care who he brings down. You see what I'm saying?
Or
Because the
mm,
way a rat thinks, that's the way a rat's gonna think. I gotta survive. He only thinks about survival. He don't think
mm,
about no morals. He don't think about no principles. The rat has to live. That's it. So a
mm,
rat is gonna do what he has to do to survive. So now a rat is a person who's in the game, knows the game, and violates the game.
mm,
Not somebody that mows the lawn and cleans their windows. No, you can't label that person a rat. They're not in the game. It's different. Ratting is we're selling drugs. We go to jail. Next thing I know, he's telling on me. The lawyer said, yo, your co-defendant said that it was you that got the drugs, this, that, and the third, bang, 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 bang. Whether he's lying or telling the truth, it's a possibility.
that,
And that's what a rat is. A rat is a person that he was with you, he knows about what you did, and he chooses to divulge the information to those who are going to cause you harm. Whether it was locking you up or whether it's coming to kill you. Either
mm,
or. That's a
mm.
rat. You know what I'm saying? Releases all testimony, facts on Iraq 152.
Yeah.
Iraq 152.
Yes, sir. Releases all testimony. Well,
Yeah.
that's some
So
real shit, man.
when dudes use the word rap for anything, they was trying to say rap for copyright strike. Get out of here, rap. That's not a rap. That's you stealing and you getting caught and they shutting you down. That's it. That's all it is. Don't use somebody else's stuff.
Or
And that's not ratting. Ratting is you're in the game and you win and you did something with your man. Y'all both get caught. They don't know the information. You go and you telling your man, and y'all both go to jail, or he goes to jail and he goes out like Takashi 6ix9ine.
how do you feel about that too? Because to be honest with you, seeing it firsthand kind of makes me sick to my stomach because it's like you be seeing how he's copping pleas saying, you know what I mean? Like, oh, they was fucking my baby moms. And it's like, if they were, they wasn't, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like you had your boys shoot at people, do robberies and all that. Like he was reportedly rapping about it too. So it was like, what is your take on it? And of course, like, like with him claiming Billy's too, like he put a lot of dudes behind the wall, a lot of men with families, with children, you know what I mean, with friends, you know what I mean, with coworkers, employees, associates, like, and now they're doing time because he really wasn't about what he was saying he was about. Like, what's your take on that?
Um, my take on that is interesting, right? First of all, I don't think to me, I don't consider that Takashi 6ix9ine was an official Billy.
Most definitely.
I don't think that he had a stamp. I think that he was a rider.
Mm,
I don't think he was rolling. You know what I'm saying? That's why there's a difference between a rider and a roller. When you rolling, you rolling. When you riding, you there, but you still
yeah.
got the choice to leave. You see what I'm
Mm,
saying? When you rolling, you in it. There is no choice. You roll. You in the motion.
yeah.
So
Or
I'll tell you right now, man. I don't. He wasn't stamped. You know what I'm saying? But he was definitely riding. And those around him saw him riding and doing whatever he did or whatever that and the third. I'm really not sure. But I'll tell you this much, you know, they let it go too far. You know what I'm saying? They should have stopped that when they already knew. Cause here's a dude that was doing dumb stuff like beating up a kid over here, him and the other dude jump a kid. You know, they wasn't doing. You know, he wasn't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? He was doing stupid miscellaneous stuff. Like, so now they grab him up. What do you expect? He ain't really living that life.
or
You know what I'm saying? He ain't really living that life, man. So what you gonna expect? Now when it really gets down and dirty, we're able to take that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We're able to
yeah.
take that if it gets down and dirty. He ain't. Because he never been through the motions. A lot of people nowadays too, they starting late. We was 13, 14, 15. These dudes, they starting like 18, 19 old already, 22, 24. You're starting old, so that's why it affects them when they go to jail. And that's why they start turning. Because they're going to jail late.
Would you say it's because they never felt heat or like danger
Yeah.
until they were later in age? So it's like a shell shock. Like they love the romanticism of being, dangerous and being tough. But then when it becomes a reality, when the negative parts of it come in, they're just shell shocked, like, oh, damn, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get killed. I don't want to go to jail. Like, and then they just, you know what I mean? The real them exposes themselves.
Let me tell you why the feds are so successful, man. They know
Mm,
this. So when they
mm,
snatch somebody up, they already know 9 times out of 10.
that they'll tell.
They're gonna shake the dice right in front of their face, like, look, this is how it's gonna go down. If I roll this dice and it hits the wall and it comes back and you aced out.
Mm,
Unless you better your odds. And then these
well,
dudes start breaking. You know what I'm saying? Then these dudes start break. You know how many indictments I saw? I saw the Patterson indictment from New Jersey. I saw that indictment come through. A bunch of them dudes was telling. I saw another indictment that came from I think Newark, New Jersey, and it was of stealing cars.
shout out to the bricks.
Start to
Or
bricks. And they a bunch of them was tough. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
These dudes start breaking right away. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They start breaking
Oh,
right away. And the reason they start breaking right away is because they started too late.
word.
You know what I'm saying? We going through the prison system and we're only 13 years old. By the time we 18, that ain't nothing. Let's get it. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, and y'all are more seasoned because y'all are already built from that fabric and that cloth because y'all lived it. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like it's something that I learned when I was young. It's like, for example, like it's best to teach young kids a new language when they're young. I guess that's similar in all things of life. Like if you have a kid who plays basketball since he's 4, by the time he's 18, he'll be bowling against someone who just started when he was 15. You know
Uh,
what I mean? So it's very similar. All right. All right. Wildcat, with this, man, I know we're gonna gradually bring this to a close. I want you to say anything that you would have to say right now in terms of what you would tell the youth, the viewers. We have a good number of people on here right now. Just what you would tell them based upon your experience. And you know what I mean? Just, the floor is yours, man. Anything that you want to say, the floor is yours.
here's my thing, man. My main thing is this. You gotta reach a certain plateau, right? And some people don't reach that certain plateau because they continue on or get used to the things that are not doing the right thing for them. It's the only thing they know, the struggle. Some people are afraid to live. They're afraid to live good. They're afraid to be normal. Because when you're normal, you don't get that limelight no more. You walk like everybody else. It's good when I go into town because I live, more towards the woods. But it's good when I go into town. And when I go into town, I see some people, hey, how you doing? That's all it is. You're a normal person. Some people can't get away from that. They need that person over here on the side to say, yo, he get busy. You know what I'm saying? That's that dude right there. They need that because it revalidates themselves. See, I don't need none of that. I already did all that. I don't need none of that. I'm good. This is the reason why I choose to live regular, but still save the youth from those that I see have bad intentions, who keep misguiding the youth and who shouldn't be telling people that they're what they say they are when they really ain't,
Mm,
because they want to manipulate those people to do things. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And with that, man, I just want everybody to know, man, you gotta be safe. You gotta stay sanitized. Don't let nobody lead you astray. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Don't keep the word gang as a bad thing, because gang is a word that's been around for a long time. You can have a work gang, like they say. You can have all types of gang. Gang doesn't have to be bad. What makes it bad is what the people in the gang do. So if there's people out there that's repping, do the right thing. Spread the right thing. I guarantee you, more people will live, more people will get that bag, and more people will have opportunities, just like all them rappers and all them other people that's out there. How you think they made it? They came from the bottom on up, man. Don't be afraid to do that. Keep it in your heart and in your mind that you can do it. And I guarantee to you, man, no matter what anybody says, man, because you're not afraid, you're going to succeed. And
yes,
with that, I'm
sir.
out, man. Salute.
Salute to Wildcat, man. Salute to you, bro. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview today. You know what I mean? Like, this was definitely a blessing and an opportunity. So, salute to you. Salute to the UBN, Non Trey, New York City, the
Right.
rest of the whole UBN, everyone out in the jungle, behind the wall. You know what I mean? Be safe, man. And, you know what I'm saying? I see this as, you know what I mean? You the homie now, man. So, you know what I mean? I'm gonna let you know whatever I'm doing. You let me know whatever you're doing, and I'm gonna always show love, bro. I appreciate you. Salute.
Right. Salute. I appreciate you too. You be safe, man. You and the wife, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Oh, anytime, man. Salute.
All right. Salute. Be blessed. All right.